يا نفس إن لم تظفري لا تجزعي
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه واتبع هداه إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله. اللهم إنا نبرأ إليك من حولنا وقوتنا إلى حولك وقوتك، لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا ظالمين. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامة من شر ما خلق وذرأ. بسم الله. Inshallah, today I'm going to divide this lecture, and please, if we could lower the volume down, inshallah. So my voice is very weak today after the khutbah. I'll try my best, inshallah. We're going to divide this into 3 portions, and we're going to go quick through it because of the time. I could keep you here till Fajr. So if you're going to stay with me till Fajr, I am fine. But inshallah, we won't go that long. We're trying to cover everything tonight. The first portion, which will be very quickly, not in a lot of depth or detail, is what we know about Jinn. Second, it will be about magic and things are related to magic. Third, it will be about the discussion of ruqya and how to protect and prevent and cure yourself if you're afflicted with anything like the evil eye or envy or possession of jinn, whatever that might be. And inshallah, alhamdulillah, we are not magicians. Alhamdulillah, we are not fraud ruqah. We're trying to deal with every matter from the Quran and Sunnah perspective. So if this is the case, I have dealt, just a quick introduction to clear any doubt, inshallah. I have dealt with these matters for about 10 years or so, since 2005. So it's been 13 years. I stopped 2 years ago, so that's why. 2 years ago, because of the vocal cord problem that I have, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cure all I've been afflicted with a tumor, and alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cured me from it, but it damaged the vocal cord. So I can't do the performance of the ruqya, but I know a lot about it through experience. First, knowledge, Quran and Sunnah. Through a lot of experience, question, ask patient and magicians and other people who are in that business. And I have real stuff here that I'm going to show you, inshallah. Shaykh Ahmad doesn't like that, so we're going to keep it away from him. And we're going to show, inshallah, throughout the class. And hopefully, inshallah, none of you will have this. I'm going to start with this ayah from the Quran. Verse number 103 in Surah Al-Baqarah. This verse, it will lead us to the structure of this lecture, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. They followed what the devils has recited during the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam, the prophet. So this is the first part. وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينَ. Who are the shayateen? This is our first portion of it. From the ayah, we're going to follow the order of the ayah, inshallah. Who are the shayateen? And what they did, and who they are, how they live, what they eat, what they drink, how they marry, and so on. Or the jinn. And we'll say the difference between shayateen and jinn in seconds. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانَ. And Sulaiman, it was not Sulaiman who disbelieved, but the devils or the shayateen disbelieved. So what is the ruling of learning magic? As we see from the ayah, the order of it. What is the ruling of going to a magician, asking them, fortune teller, reading the horoscope, palm reading? All of that will be included tonight, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. They teach people magic. So the first thing, shayateen. Second part, the rulings. Third, magic and everything that is related to. قال وما يعلمان الناس السحر وما أنزل على الملكين ببابل هاروت وماروت وما يعلمان من أحد حتى يقول إنما نحن فتنة فلا تكفر فيتعلمون منهما. What they learned from them. ما يفرقون به. They teach them, these magicians, things that will cause separation between the man and his wife. And this will talk about different types of magic and how they perform it and how could it affect our life as believers and how to protect from it. قال وما هم بضارين به من أحد إلا بإذن الله. They will not harm anyone by it except by the permission of Allah. And this is the last portion of our talk today, which is al-ruqya and how to protect yourself. So from this ayah, we took this conference today. First, al-jinn. And what do we know about them? So there are a few questions that I will answer briefly. Some I will give some details because we're going to need it for our next session, insha'Allah Rabbul Alameen. So verse number 103. Some people will ask, قالوا واتبعوا ما تتلو الشياطين على ملك سليمان. What's with Sulaiman and Shayateen? There is no relation. There is no relation. It's a matter of narration, and most of the narration is speaking about that there were jinn who used to perform magic at the time of Sulaiman alayhi salam. And Sulaiman alayhi salam warned them not to do so. So they ended up hiding this magic in a place where only them who knew about it. And when Sulaiman alayhi salam died, this shaitan or this jinn came out and showed some other jinn where the magic was. And then to make it accepted for people, he claimed that these are words or language or sentences or numbers that Sulaiman would use as form of magic or talsam or so on to bring jinn to help him. So a lot of things that we see today, people refer back to Sulaiman alayhi salam. Sulaiman alayhi salam did not use magic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that وَمَا كَفَرَ Sulaiman. Sulaiman didn't disbelieve in Allah. Allah is the one who made the jinn work for who? For Sulaiman alayhi salam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is the one who made the jinn work for him. So Allah said, no, Sulaiman did not disbelieve. That means that the magicians are disbelievers. They disbelieve in Allah. So these jinn took these words and claimed that Sulaiman is the one who used it to bring jinn to help. So the magicians after Sulaiman alayhi salam would also use these words as sentences or words from, thinking it's from who? Sulaiman alayhi salam, because that's what the jinn convinced them. So that happened after the death of Sulaiman alayhi salatu wassalam. Now, question number 1. What do we know about jinn? First, let's settle something together. What we know about them is what Allah told us. And what the Prophet ﷺ told us. Why? Because they're unseen. We believe of their existence. We know they exist. We know they are there. But we cannot speak about them except with evidence from Quran and Sunnah. Because the one who created them is the one who knows them better, Allah. And the one who saw them, the Prophet ﷺ, or Allah revealed to him, he knows who they are, how they think, what they are into, and so on. So, first question, or first two, why are they called jinn? And what are they created from? Why they're called jinn? Because anything that disappears, anything that is hidden is called jinn, like Jannah. What they're created from? They are created from the flameless part of fire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَخَلَقَ الْجَانَّ مِن مَارِجٍ مِن نَار. So I want everybody to look up here. This is not Jim, anybody. It's scary. Fahmi said to scare you guys. I don't know why. But this is where. This part right here is the flameless part where you're able to put your finger in it and you won't be burned. Or even you put your hand through it. This area right here is smokeless, flameless. They're not created from fire, the actual fire. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and we created the jinn from the smokeless flame of fire. Why do we need that? So important? Because if we understand how they are created, we know that they are like air today. This part right here is some smokeless part of fire that is air. So it is easy for the jinn to possess, to enter a human's body. And by the way, they don't do that. It's not like it's easy where they come in and they just enter. Like we're sitting here today, they wouldn't like what we say about them. It's not like that. We'll explain inshallah. But this is the proof for some people who deny the possession of jinn. So we know what their name, They're created from what? Again, we said that the smokeless part of fire. خُلِقَ الْجَانُّ مِن مَارِجٍ مِن نَار. Number 3. Do jinn have gender? Yes, male and female. How do we know that? One hadith, just one proof. I'm going to go quickly through this because I want to go to session 2. What's the proof that they are created other than Quran? Here you go. I gave you a hint. You say it every day at least, I don't know how many times you use that. Twice a day. Huh? What is it? Bismillah. Yes. No? Huh? What is it? Jazakallah khairan. Here you go. Dua before you enter the bathroom. What do you say? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika, oh Allah. Indeed, you seek protection from male and female of jinn. So if they don't have male or female, why are you saying khubth wal khaba'ith? So the Prophet ﷺ taught us. In Surah Al-Kahf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَفَتَتَّخِذُونَهُ وَذُرِّيَّتَهُ أَوْلِيَاءَ مِن دُونِي وَهُمْ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ بِئْسَ لِلظَّالِمِينَ بَدَلًا. Are you taking him, the shaitan, and his offspring? His offspring, so he has what? He married, so male and female. And this, Allah is talking about the shaitan, who is Iblis, alayhi la'natullah, and his followers. Mashi? So that's what we know about Iblis, alayhi la'natullah. Anybody know what his wife's name? I always give this as a gift. Anybody know Iblis' wife? What was her name? Iblisa, huh? This kid is very good. Yes? Huh? Wadi? MashaAllah, you attended the wedding? Allahu Akbar. That's the only way you would know if you got an invitation letter. How do we know? Any of us here attended their wedding? I don't know. Nobody knows. منين جبت واضي هذا؟ ما شاء الله عليك. So brother has an invitation. That's the only way I could. No, we don't know and we don't care, okay? We don't know and we don't care. طيب. What are the names of jinn? When we say the names of jinn do have names that Allah described in the Quran, like Iblis, Shaitan, Ifrit, Qareen. These are the names we know. Tamam? طيب. Then they have other names that they use that describe how powerful they are. So depend on their level. And then they have other names that are like our names. So they have Abdullah, Abdul Rahman, Ahmad, Salih, Mahmoud, Khalid, John, Steve, Michael, Jordan, whatever. Not Michael Jordan. Michael and Jordan. Not together. Mashi? So they do have names like that. But the names that I want to focus on today are these names that each one of them relates to Jinn. Jinn, we already said, they're the unseen. Khalas? 2, Iblis, the head of, quickly, let's be interactive, inshallah. It says Jinn, I don't want you to be distracted. I know people will be scared in a second, Iblis is who? The father of? Not all jinns. Of the shayateen. What is the difference between shaitan and jinn? Shayateen are the followers of Iblis, alayhi la'natullah, and he is their head. And all of them are disbelievers. Jinn have believers and disbelievers. So Iblis is from the jinn. He's not the head. He's not the main or the father of the jinn, like Adam is the father of the humans. No, Iblis is one of the jinn. And he was righteous, but because he disbelieved in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he was giving the name what? Ash-Shaitan. So the word Shaitan we use for anyone who is non-Muslim or disbeliever. The word Jinn, you be careful when you use it, because Jinn represent Muslims and non-Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about the Jinn in Surah Al-Jinn, وَأَنَّا مِنَّا الْمُسْلِمُونَ وَمِنَّا الْقَاسِطُونَ. We have the believers and the disbelievers. فأما المسلمون فإيه وأن منا المسلمون وأن منا المسلمون ومنا القاسطون فمن أسلم فأولئك تحروا رشدا وأما القاسطون فكانوا لجهنم حطبا. Allah says we differentiate between, or they say we are two groups, jinn and Muslims and non-Muslims. Okay, so these are their names. Allah used in the Quran Shaitan to represent Iblis. He used Rajim, the one who's expelled out of the mercy of Allah. And he also used qareen. And this number 5, we're going to use him a lot today. So remember, what is qareen? That's the devil assigned to each individual. So each one of you has a qareen. You cannot escape. And each one of us, question, each one of us has how many qareen? If anybody has 10, let me know. I'll be, how many? 2. Qareen from the angels and qareen from the shaitan. تمام؟ The qareen, وقال قرينه هذا ما لدي عتيد. هذا قرين الملائكة. الثاني قال وقال قرينه ربنا ما أطغيته ولكن كان في ضلال بعيد. هذا الشيطان. In Surah Qaf, Allah described both qareen, the angel qareen that orders you to do good and keeps you on the right path and advises you. And as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, له معقبات من بين يديه ومن خلفه يحفظونه بإذن الله. They are protecting him. Who are they? The angels. They are the ones protecting him. So these are, but the qareen is very important. Why? Because he's the one used in chapter 2. When we come to magic, how are they able to get to you? Through this qareen right here. When you're born, a shaitan comes, or your qareen comes, hits you very strongly in the stomach. So you end up crying, screaming. Every child did that, yeah? Anybody didn't do? You guys remember? I don't know if you remember. Yeah, we remember. Okay? My shaitan was delayed a little bit. He was doing something. But he came, and then they thought I was dead. But when he came, he got me, then they said, okay, I shouted. So that's the qareen. He lives with you. He knows a lot about you. He even knows what you whisper and think of. And then he dies when you die. You can't get rid of him. This guy right here, this jinn right here, whether you like jinn, you don't like them, you can't get rid of him. Khalas, there's nothing I could do for you. Qareen. But you could, Rasulullah said to Aisha, your qareen, your shaitan came to you when she thought he went to one of his wives and she followed him. In the long story short, yani. And then he said, your shaitan whispered to you. She said, I have a shaitan. He said, yeah, every one of us has shaitan. She said, even you? He said, yes. But Allah helped me and he became aslam or aslamu or aslama. Meaning that Allah helped me to do what? That I be protected from him. The other narration, aslama, means that he became Muslim. But the narration of aslamu, that I'm protected for, is more authentic because shayateen don't become Muslim. And if the shaitan becomes Muslim, then he's what? He's out. He's not going to help. Khalas. So there is no point of having a qareen in this case. But these ones, I want you. Al-Jinn is the regular jinn that we all know about. Al-Amir are the resident jinn. These are their names. Each one of us here has second type in his house. They are the ones who are resident of your house. They are in your house. They come for many reasons. They come because someone is sick. They come because someone has or stayed away from the Quran or the Sunnah or reading Quran, or there's songs and music in the house. They come because they want to check the house and they possibly live in. They come because they want to eat and drink, and so they are like you. They are awamir, okay? How would we know them? That if I'm going to give it to you today. Go home and check if you have awamir at your house. You want to know how? No? Khalas, alhamdulillah. Yeah? طيب. Number 1, if you see shadow or the children see shadow running in the house, there are awamir. Believe them. But don't make it up, huh? Little kids. 2, if things gets lost in your house and you know for sure that no one enters the house, and if it's not hidden, there are awamir, jinn in the house. If you hear voices, like for example, but this is the case, I don't want the sisters or the brother to use that. A brother will go, his wife, for example, she's hiding $1,000 in her pocket, he takes it and she's like, oh, the jinn took it, sorry. No, stop stealing money. I'm saying, if you have money somewhere, or objects that disappear with no reason, nobody enters your house, and you know you put it there, you're sure, and this is repeated, then know for sure there are awamir in your house. Easy way to get rid of them, as the Prophet ﷺ told, Surah Al-Baqarah, you recite it. 3 days, they run away. Then they come back after what? 3 days. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, إِنَّهُنَّ awamir, they live with you in the house, and there are other signs, inshallah, but that would be a private. If you feel there is jinn in your house, talk to me after. Ar-ruh, spirit jinn, and these ones, I want you to be careful of. These ones come and they only mess with our children. So if you have a kid that cries too much, or you have a child that misbehaving in a way that he was not used to it. But if your child is already crazy, don't complain. That's how he is. Or if he's jumping off the bed, that's normal. Every child does that. But a behavior that you notice, a change of behavior, when he sleeps, he bites on his teeth very hard. They scream. They cry in the middle of the night, not because they have a stomach pain or something that is hurting him. They wake up and they tell you they've seen things. These are the spirit awamir, or the spirit jinn that they live in there. Shaitaan, that's the hardest one, or that's the high level. Married, ifrit. Now, what happened? Why we have these cases? Most of the fortune tellers or the magicians, what they do, if they want to do magic to you, to cause you a problem, divorce, not liking your husband, for a husband not to like his wife, children to misbehave, problems in the family, you're losing your job, a lot of problems. They send you a jinni. Now look at how the process goes. He comes to your house. He stays with you for a while. He goes back to the magician and he says, I can't do it. He's too good. He's protected. He reads his adhkar. He does salah. I can't get to him. I'm too weak. The magician said, sit on the side. One of the awamir, he tried to reach one of your awamir that lives with you, knows you better. They can't do it. The spirit is not going to get in. Shaitan can't do it. Married, he comes to you, finds you very strong. Married is very strong, but you have to be stronger. Quran, Sunnah, Hadith, Ayat, Dhikr, Salah, Siyam, family, mashallah, religious, hijab, whatever. Married can't do it, they send you ifrit. They can't all do it. They can't all harm you because you're very strong. They come back to your... Everybody's asleep now. Should I wake you guys up? There is 3 ways. Through... No. There's only one. Through your what? Qareen. They come to your qareen. That one you can't fight. You could make him weak, but you can't fight. This is when the time of possession becomes very hard and very strong on a person, that we don't know how to even treat the case, except that it takes a longer period of time. So back to the questions. Where were we? Question number what? Bismillah. Okay. Do jinn eat and drink? Yes. What do they eat? Our food, the leftover. Like the bones. Allah makes it, turns into meat for them, and they eat it. Their animals eat the dung of our animal. So they do eat and drink. But do they drink Coke, Pepsi? I don't know. I haven't asked a jinn yet if they like Pepsi. They might if you drink Pepsi. So the Muslim jinn eats what you eat if you slaughter by the name of Allah and you say Bismillah. You feed your brothers. If you don't slaughter by the name of Allah and you don't say Bismillah, then the disbeliever's jinn or the disobedient jinn will eat with you and they become strong. So they do eat and drink, but they're not going to eat your food. So if you're missing a sandwich in the refrigerator, that's your little child in the middle of the night. He sneaked in, don't blame it on the jinn. Okay? Or if you have a good food that you smell in the house and your wife said, oh, what happened to the food? You did it. So be honest. Okay? But they do eat and drink like us. Where do the jinn live? They live in houses, few of them. But they live in empty houses, rivers, seas, bathrooms, filthy area. Mostly the disbeliever jinn or the evil jinn lives in the filthy area. Garbage, depth of the ocean. And the ones in the depth of the ocean are the ones locked by... By the way, if I ask and you answer, I give you a gift. Huh? Sulaiman alayhi salam, your first gift, fadl. Go, kid, go give it to him back. Ruqya. Go, don't be scared, it's not magic. طيب. What is their power? Their power is, they could only do what the ayah says. They could only harm you if, what? with the permission of Allah. They're very weak. They don't have power. And the power that they have, the believers' iman is stronger than the power that they have. So if you're strong in iman and aqidah, they cannot do anything to you. They can't. They won't harm you. They won't afflict you. They won't cause you problems. Second type, can jinn transform? We'll just say yes, but I usually say no, but I'm just going to say yes so I don't confuse you. They don't transform unless, as Umar radiallahu anhu said, and Qatada and others, they said, they don't transform unless they use magic spells or certain words to say to turn them into the object that they want to turn to. So it's not like they could turn whenever they want. So they will appear to you in a form and then they will disappear and then they appear. No, to do it, as Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu said, that they are taught certain words where they speak of, they say it turns them into the object that they want to transform to. So they do transform, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in the hadith that they transform into a snake, hayatun wa aqarib, black dogs, quote, I'm just going to keep it to there because there's no time to go into all the details. Black dogs are jinn or shayateen, mostly. Okay, I'm just going to keep it there. They transform into objects that you know, like humans, other humans, figure of humans. And the angels, they do the same thing. They transform into animals, like black cat, we said snake, leather, and other. But no. These are the jinn. There are three types. There are three types of jinn. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, there are three types of jinn. Jinn that flies, tayarun, okay? Jinn hayatun wa aqarib, snakes and lizard. Jinn that are yadharuna wa yad'anun, they appear and they disappear, like in a shadow. So they're able to transform, as we said. Yes, if they do their magic spell to transform. Will the jinn enter paradise or hellfire? The question is yes, and there's a lot of proofs of the Quran. Jinn has religion? Yes or no? Yes. They have madhahib? Yes. They're Hanafis, Shafi'is, Malikis, Hanbalis. The tough ones are the Hanbalis. They're very hard-headed. MashaAllah. No, I'm joking for Shia. But they have madhahib. They have Shia, Sufism. They have, and the worst of them are Shias. Believe it or not. This is what's proving throughout let's not get into that. Do jinn know the future? No. They know, they used to, at the time of the Prophet ﷺ or before Rasulullah ﷺ, they would climb on the top of each other and they would listen to the news from the skies. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands the angel to do something, the angels tell the other angels tell other angels. So the angels of the first heaven or the first sky talks to each other. They say, what's the commands today? Oh, this is going to happen to this person. Someone is going to live. Someone is going to have an accident. So the jinn used to climb on the top of each other. The Prophet ﷺ described, and he did his hand like that. And he said they climb, and then they would listen. And then they would run with the news to the magician and tell him. Now the magician will take it from the jinn. He will add 100 lie to it. So he'll tell you, if you travel today, this is going to happen. And if you travel, it will happen. So you start believing in him. Now you return back to him, tell them, okay, how about this? I want to apply for this job. What do you think? No, don't do that. Now they add lies to it, so they know one thing and they add 100 things. But when the Prophet ﷺ was sent, alhamdulillah, that now there is shooting stars that was shot at them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَأَنَّا لَمَسْنَا السَّمَاء, talking about jinn, وَأَنَّا لَمَسْنَا السَّمَاءَ فَوَجَدْنَاهَا مُلِئَتْ حَرَسًا شَدِيدًا وَشُهُبًا وَأَنَّا كُنَّا نَقْعُدُ مِنْهَا مَقَاعِدَ لِلسَّمْعِ فَمَنْ يَسْتَمِعِ الْآنَ يَجِدْ لَهُ شِهَابًا رَصَدًا. They say now, we know that there is a prophet who is sent, because when we listen to the news, now there is shooting stars that is sent at us, so we know that something happened. So they went down, they checked earth, to make sure what's the news. And they found that the Prophet ﷺ, Allah revealed to him, which was about 15 or 20 or 12 to 15 days after the revelation. Can any human see jinn in their original form? No. Imam Shafi'i. Who else from the ulama, just to be very specific? Ibn Asakir rahimahullah ta'ala, and Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala, and Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, they say a person who claims that they see jinn in their actual form, they are considered كَذَّابُونَ فَسَقَ تُرَدُّ شَهَادَتُهُم. They are liars, disobedience, and we reject their what? Their shahada, their testimony. We don't accept it from them. Seeing the jinn, some people, I met some magician and they tell me, oh, we see the jinn. No. They see them in other objects. They transform into something else. As we say, like dogs, cats, snakes, whatever that there might be. At the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the companion who came back to his wife and he saw her outside of the house, he said to her, why are you outside? She said, wait till you see what's inside. He got jealous. He was with the Prophet in a battle. He went inside, he found a snake on the top of his bed. So he took his sword and he hit the snake. They both died. The companion and the snake. So when they told Rasulullah, he said, be careful because you have brothers or you have awamir, jinn, who lives and they're resident with you in Medina. So if one of you sees a snake in his house, you should تحرجه ثلاثا. You should talk to it 3 times. Everybody talk to it 3 times. I already explained in many lectures. You don't go to the snake and start a conversation. No, this is not what the hadith says. You know, some people, they tell you, you want me to go and talk to the snake? Yeah. But don't go close and say, snakey, you're nice looking snake. Can you leave my house? You're dead. By the time you do that, you're dead. Don't do that. You stand far away that the snake can't get to you. And you speak to it 3 times. I looked into it, there is no evidence on what to say. So there is many narration. You could tell him by the oath that Sulaiman has taken upon you to leave my house, Bismillah, 3 times. If the snake leaves the house, which I saw it with my own eyes many times, the snake would actually leave the house. Even ants and little things, you talk to it like that. You know, some people would think you're crazy. It doesn't matter. You say Bismillah 3 times. If they leave the house, Alhamdulillah. If they don't, then you're able to kill it even if it's a jinn. Why? Because now they are tied in the form that they have transformed to. So do that 3 times. Speak to it the way I told you. Say Bismillah 3 times, and then you get rid of it. And that's what happened at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So no one could see the snake on their actual form except the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He saw them in their actual form, and he described them to the companions, like Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, and he said how they look like. And the shayateen, when they made from fire, they crossed by Rasulullah in salah, and he took one of them, and he took him, and he got him closer from his neck, and he said, till I felt his saliva dropping on my hand. Then I said, he shouted out, let me go. So I let him go. Wallahi, if it was not the dua of Sulaiman, not to give this power to control the jinn, I would have tied him in this pillar in the masjid and I made the kids play with him. But I let him go. Okay? So Rasulullah did see them. Sulaiman alayhi salam most likely did see them because he would use them. Other than Sulaiman, they would see the shaitan in their actual form, Allahu A'lam. But they would see them in their... Abu Hurairah saw the shaitan. You know the hadith, right? Who knows the hadith of Abu Hurairah? Did he see the shaitan, yes or no? Yes. Yes? No? This is not shaitan, this is laser. Okay. Huh? When he was stealing from the zakah, but he saw him in the form of a man. Because if he saw him as a shaitan, he would know right away. So 3 days Rasulullah is telling him, he'll come back, he'll come back, he'll come back. In the 3rd night, he said, Ya Abu Hurairah, you know who you're being speaking to for the past few days? He said, who? He said, that's the shaitan. And the shaitan taught him Ayatul Kursi to protect him. Ubay ibn Ka'b in the hadith narrated by Imam Bukhari did the same, and he caught this man stealing, and he figured out that he was He told him, I'm the Shaitan, the Marid, the master of the Jinn. If you don't let me go, I will harm you. He started laughing and he said, Wallah, you have no power, go. Okay, so he knew he was a Shaitan. طيب. Can we use, where are we? Bismillah. Can we use the help of Jinn with matters in our lives? No. Don't do that. Because if you try to do it through any of these means, you think that the Jinn are going to protect you. You think that the Jinn are going to bring benefit to you. You think any of these little hijab thing that I'm going to show you inshallah in a while, you think any of these things will protect you and keep harm and the Jinn are protecting you? Wallahi, they are bringing harm to your family and to your house and to your life that you would not imagine. Such as people who call magicians or call fortune tellers or go to the palm readers and tell them, what do you know about me? And gives them information. The Jinn ends up in your house doing things to you that I don't want to speak about from experience and things that I have seen. This was portion 1. Again, just for the sake of recording, this portion is very brief. I made it in an hour and a half lecture. Alhamdulillah, I finished it in 20 minutes. Sah? That's good. Move on to, this is the first part, Shayateen. So what do they teach people? They teach people magic, as-sihr. Many of Muslims today carry these magic with them without knowing, and they don't know what they're used for, and they cause harm to them because of these evil magicians or those people who say they are righteous or religious. No. Or religious. These people are harming you. They're not bringing you benefit. The one who brings you benefit and harm is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As-sihr. Magic. What is magic? What do we know about magic? The Quran affirmed magic. People of Musa alayhi salam, they used magic. فَسَحَرُوا أَعْيُنَ النَّاسِ. There are types of magic where you see it in your life that are illusion, like those people who play with the card, they do little tricks. And there's magic that they use Jinn and Shayateen to help them, like these examples that we're going to give inshallah. So what is magic? Sihr linguistically means whatever is caused by a hitting force. Okay? And is imagined as other than itself, or something that appears in a form other than its real one. This is what they do. Things that you see with your eyes that are not true. You see them, you look at them, but they appear in other than the reality of it. Like, if I bring this book, okay, and everybody is looking at it. If I do some tricks to hide the book or make it disappear, sometimes they'll be carrying the book in their hand or they hide it somewhere where you don't see it. You thought that the book disappeared. This is what you thought, what you saw with your eyes. And you thought that the book disappeared. So they are fooling you. They are tricking you. Or whatever is caused by a hitting force, which is mainly jinn or nafth, like nuts that they make, or things that they cause to speak about or to blow in water or air or so on. So this is what literal meaning sihr is, an act which brings one closer to the shaitan. Let me tell you, brothers, right now, any person who does magic cannot perform magic unless he sacrifices for the shaitan. They have to sacrifice for the shaitan. They have to do something for the shaitan to gain some benefit from the shaitan. By the way, no one on earth, regardless of how top magician he is, uses the shayateen or jinn. It's the other way around. The jinn and the shayateen are using him to do things that they command him to do, and then they bring him some favors. So they are using him and they make him disbelieve in Allah in order for them to do this benefit. He has to disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. طيب, magic may also be defined as the appearance of control, object, ماشي. According to Ibn Qudama rahimahullah, he said, sihr, magic, is a set of nuts, like these ones right here. These nuts right here, Allah asks us to make isti'adha from قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقْ وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ, women who blow, or magicians who blow in nuts. Al-uqad are the nuts. They take it, they make these nuts, they say certain words, they blow in it, and then magic is performed, like we're going to show inshallah. Or certain words that they use, okay, either written or carried out in such a way to set the effect of the body of the subject, his heart, his mind, without even coming into contact with him or her. They have to have a trace, something from you to perform this magic. So they bring that, whatever they are able to, and they perform it. They don't have to meet you. Magicians never have to meet you. They don't have to come to your house. It's just someone performing that magic brings something to them. So therefore, I'm going to tell you right now, if anyone claims, and listen to this very careful, if anyone claims that a magician could do magic on a picture of yours without having a trace, meaning something from you, like hair, clothes, nails, or so on, they are lying and they don't know how magic is performed. Or else right now, all Facebook will be magic. How many of us here has pictures on Facebook? I don't want to see the sister side, brother side. Because if they raise their hand, I'm going to have a problem with the sister having their picture on Facebook. We have pictures on Facebook. So if a magician could just take it and perform magic on it, then it will be an easy affliction. They don't do that. They have to have a trace, and we're going to explain inshallah what a trace means. Like, what are the rulings of learning magic? Our kids today, they go onto these websites, they learn these words. Why? Because they watch Disney. Most of Disney movies involves magic. Yes? Cinderella. What's other? I only know Cinderella. That's what I watched. Huh? But other movies, okay? Most of Disney. Can we learn magic? Can we at least bring it to benefit the Muslims maybe? Can we learn magic? What's the ruling? Number one, forbidden, haram. This is the consensus of the scholars. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانَ. Sulaiman did not disbelieve in Allah, but the shayateen disbelieved. Why? Teaching people magic. So they disbelieved because they are teaching what? They are teaching magic. So it's haram to learn, haram to perform, haram to use, and haram to get close to it. Now, Hadith Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam says, be aware, protect yourself, avoid 7 things that will destroy your life. They said, what is it, O Rasulullah? He said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, associating anything with Allah, and magic, second one, the rest of the 7. Magic is one of the 7 that you must stay away from. Don't learn, don't read about it. And let me tell you, as something that I remember. A lot of time, our kids and our youth and even the adults, they learn magic accidentally. Again, how? They learn it what? How can they learn it accidentally? They do it. No. Reading too much about it. Reading too much about it. Following a book that teaches magic. Playing games that has magic wordings or spells. You end up learning magic without knowing. And if the jinn or the shayateen appear to you in any form, sometime there is no return. Some people, they learn magic through a religious mean. Like they go to a teacher who they think he is a sheikh, a scholar, a professor, And then they add to Quran, to Hadith, certain things that they teach them, and this is magic. Be very careful because it will destroy your action and it's part of disbelief. The Prophet ﷺ said in another Hadith, he said, whoever ties a nut, this is a nut, should be a nut, sorry, and blows on it, he has practiced magic. And whoever practiced magic, he has committed shirk. And whoever hangs up something like on the wall, then he will be entrusted to it. These things right here. We're going to show you the talasim. You hang it on your chest, in your pocket, in your house, things that are tied into leather, and they tell you don't ever open it. You know, I'm just going to give it to you right now. Where's the... Okay, let's keep this for now. Next. You see this right here? Everybody, you see this right here? A person bought this, okay, to do what? To keep him protected. How much it cost? $1,500. Huh? $1,500. You were there at the lecture. $1,500, but he was able to drop the price, negotiate. Okay, so he got it for $800. Fine, no problem. You open it up, it has Quran, it's Quran. Old recitation of Quran. This will keep, anybody wants to buy this now? This will bring more rizq to your family. Anybody want more rizq? More provision? Anybody want children? Why are you guys all scared? Bismillah. Anybody wants this? This is what they thought. So you take it, it is Quran. But these evil creatures, these magicians, they will not write the Quran because if they do so, it will protect. And they know Surah Al-Baqarah, for example, protect. So what do? And don't ask me how do we know that. They take the ayah, they add certain words in the middle or numbers which represent something. So it is Quran. If you read it, it is verses of Quran. It's hard to read. But then they have names of jinn written around. Ya Rahman, that's Allah. Ya Rahim, that's Allah. Ya Jibril, that's the angel Jibril. Ya Mikael, and then they add Ya Sahsahubi, Ya Bahbahubi, Ya Nahbahubi, and so on. And these weird Nakhnukh is name and so on. These are names of magicians, names of jinn. They add it into it that brings log. They give it to a sister to bring a husband. Now you get a Afrit husband, you get a jinn husband. If you keep this. And she tells me, oh, I married this guy, he's very evil. Yeah, because you got him through this. So these things are being sold. And the Prophet ﷺ says, you put your trust in this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will leave you to it. You will not have the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala no more. You will not have the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala no more. Al-Imam Al-Hafiz ibn Hajar rahimahullah ta'ala said, learning magic is kufr, disbelief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Qudama said learning magic and teaching magic is haram, and this is a consensus of the scholars. We do not know of a difference of opinion on this matter among the scholar of religion that was mentioned in the Mughni of Ibn Qudama rahimahullah ta'ala rahmatan wasi'a. Now, can we go to a magician? Can we visit them? For the purpose of asking them, not trusting them. Let me give you the harm of that. Two things. If you go and ask them and you trust them, one case. If you go, ask them, but you don't believe in what they say, one case. What is the case? First hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, he said, whoever visits a magician, a fortune teller, someone who plays with magic, palm reading is included. Those people who read the stars, horoscope, they explain it. They have numbers, letters, any of that. You go and visit them. You ask them and you believe in what they say. You have denied the revelation that was sent to Muhammad. Meaning you have disbelieved in the Quran. But Sheikh, I only go there to check them out. I saw magicians. But I didn't go to visit them. I didn't go to even ask them. I went because I was writing the book about magic and I wanted to get information on how they perform certain action and how do they do it. Not to ask them for a matter for myself or others. But what if we just go, what if we read the horoscope? How many of us here reads the horoscope? Be honest. What's the horoscope? You don't know? Okay, mash. Alhamdulillah. Now I introduced it to the community. Allah understand. Whoever goes to a magician and doesn't believe him, look at what Rasulullah said. Allah will not accept his salah for 40 days and he still have to perform salah. So you pray for 40 days knowing that your salah is what? Not accepted. It does not mean it doesn't mean that you don't do salah. No, you perform salah. But your salah is not accepted for 40 days. So any of that, at-tanjim, astrology, horoscope, palm reading are all shirk. This is the palm reading. They have these names of Mars and other places. This one, they say if your line, Shaykh Ahmed, if you want to get married, oh, Shaykh Ahmed is already married. Anybody wants to get married? If your line, this is the line of marriage and relation. This is the line that you'll be rich or you'll be poor. MashaAllah, a brother told me, Wallah, I see this line every day and I'm still poor. It says you'll be rich. Yeah, they'll tell you one day. Oh, yeah, wait till what that day comes. Rizq comes from where? Allah said, وَرِزْقُكُمْ فِي السَّمَاءِ. Your provision is above heavens. If Allah made it on earth, we would be fighting over it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who decrees it with the amount that is set for you. And you will not get more than what Allah has decreed for you. These people who read astrology, they go into they have certain way to read it. I just want to go over quickly. I don't want anybody to learn how to do it. But the palm part, they open it up and they tell you, this line right here is tilting toward the left. This is the relationship. So if it's connected right here, you will marry someone from your family. And if it's disconnected, you'll marry someone that you disliked before. And then you'll be connected together. And then people tell me, Wallah, I married the one I love and we're having problems. And it's connected. These are all made up. These are things that they teach. It's form of magic and the shayateen fools them and tricks them. And subhanallah, they actually write books about it. It's like you have to follow it. And then they tell you, oh, not anybody could read this. You have to go through a stage of learning to be able to do it. You tell him, brother and sister, this hand right here is my hand. Leave it alone. All of this, brothers and sisters, is shirk. This is shirk. Shirk means to associate a partner with Allah. You believe that someone could harm you or benefit you or brings you goodness other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is magic. This is briefly what magic is all about. Now, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to protect ourselves. How? Ruqya. Reciting some verses from the Quran, some ahadith, some dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if we do that, we'll be protected. But I want to warn you from the fraud, ruqya, or those people who does ruqya wrong. Therefore, you would know who's doing it right. You get it? So I'm going to tell you next, I'm going to tell you this guy right here. No, nobody knows him. He's not clear on the picture. What's wrong, Shaykh Ahmed, with this picture? Give us the fiqh perspective.
Touching woman?
Thank you. First problem. I call this slide, how to spot a fraud raqi. How do you, false, someone who's, see, using big words, what I told you. A fraud is someone who looks real, religious, wearing the stuff that I wear. I stopped wearing that because of him. Having sibha in his hand, growing his beard, mashallah, and his beard could be long. Recites Quran, prays in front of you, but they are fake. I have met only in Egypt, I'm not going to mention other countries which I have met a lot of them. Only Egypt, thousands. Why? Good business. They fool people. You give, let me give you a trick. How the Shaykh Ahmed was surprised when he saw this. I opened up this magic spell here, or this is the ta'weeza. You know what ta'weeza is, right? A protection. It keeps you protected. And the brother's like, Sheikh, don't do that. You're going to harm me and my family and my mother and my father. All of that. And I said, easy, man. So it was wrapped in like inside a box, whatever. And he was like, Sheikh, he told me not to open it and that. I said, how much did you pay for it? He said, $450. I'm like, mashallah, this is a good magician. Yeah, prices are high. That means he did a good job. Okay? We got to the end. I told him, I told you it was ta'weeza. It was some kind of a protection thing, which is haram to have. And he said, what's in it? I said, if he's a good magician, they write certain words and stuff in that. Okay? And he said, Wallahi, he told me he spent a lot of time on it. So I opened it up and I said, $400, $400, $400. This is $400. The magician did not even take time to do it. Yeah, this guy, I feel bad for him for two things. He's doing magic. He's a magician. But he's a fraud. If he did something, okay, at least he did some work, He charged you for the ink, for the blood, for whatever he did. But this guy, he just sent it to him in mail from one country to the US, and he paid DHL express mail to receive it right away. And I'm like, and he said, maybe, those hidden ink. I'm like, there is no hidden ink, there is nothing. Okay? You lick it with your tongue, whatever. Get a dog to lick it, there's nothing in there. The guy's convinced that this is something. So brothers and sisters, especially sisters, I'm gonna warn you not to ever go to those people that I'm gonna mention to you today. And this is Allahumma ballaghta, Allahumma fashhad. Allah is my witness now. I have said it, be careful. Number one, if you ever go to someone, even if he's a sheikh, even if it was me or Sheikh Ahmed, may Allah protect us. I'm not going to talk about Sheikh Khalil and Sheikh Yusuf, just for. If you go and you love them and you respect them, even if he's the Imam of Haram, yallah, here you go. Allah, we're going for Umrah. Forget it. Okay. If he does any of the things that I'm going to mention to you now, slap him on the face and leave. No, don't do that. Leave quietly, but don't ever return, because if he knows that you are exposing him, he'll harm you. Be careful. Even if he's religious, I'm telling you, even the Imam of Haram, doesn't matter. Any of these signs that you see in someone who's performing ruqya, not magic now. I'm talking about ruqya right now. Those people who perform magic, I'm going to show you how they do it. First thing, they ask the patient about his name or her name and mother's name. If anybody asks for your mother's name, they are magicians. Period. If they ask you, what's your name? Oh, do you have brothers and sisters? Yeah. What's their name? At the end, they get to, what's your mother's name? Check mark. You're like, thank you, I'll see you next time. Seriously. Why? For two reasons. Jinn don't believe that humans are children of marriage, because all marriage to the jinn, meaning our marriage to the jinn, is a form of وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ fornication and zina. That's how they view us. Number two, they bring your name and your mother's name and they match them. How do they match them? This is what they do. They take your name, they look at it. The person's name is Mathalan, I'm afraid I pick on someone and that's his real name and his mother's name. That'll be trouble. I'm giving it to the magician. And Mathalan eh? Huh? Abbas. Anybody Abbas here? Alhamdulillah, that's my favorite name. Abbas. Okay? And his mother's name is Abbasa. No. There's no such a thing as Abbas. And his mother's name is Mathalan La. Sakina. No? Okay. Okay, so we're staying with Abbasa. We're just going with Abbasa. Okay. We're going with Abbasa. Khalas, that's it. Stop. Khalas. Sorry, sister. Abbas. Now they take the scene for this. This is what they do. They take the scene from your name. They match it with the scene, so there is a match. They take the scene, they look into a number. What is a number? They have their ways. They have a chart where each number represents, or forgive me, each letter represents a number. And they match these numbers together. And they look at both of you. And they say, well, Abbas, the son of Abbasa, is a form of creation. Yes, created from what? They have 4 types. They divide us into 4 types. We are either created from, we are creation of fire, category of fire. Number 2, category of sand or mud or soil. We have 3rd, water. 4th, air. So they look at your numbers and they match that number with the number 15, which is a box they draw. And when you add it, I don't want to do it because the kids are going to learn. Okay, or else I would have shown you. But then the number 15. Anyway, at the end they say, oh, Abbas is a water creation, or a soil creation, or a fire creation, or what else we said? Air creation. Because of his mother's matching with other numbers. So they take that, because you could have more than one father, but you could only have one mother. See, that's how they look at it, right? A person, for them, magicians and disbelievers, they could have more than one father, like not more than one father like they could. No, but a woman does zina and so on. When they take that, they turn it into the magic that we talked about. And then, according to what category you're in, they know how to perform the magic. So first, if they ask about your name and your mother's name, if they read a ruqyah, what is a ruqyah? Ruqyah is wordings we use as specific wordings to say or read from Quran or Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or from the dua that the Prophet taught us. So this person does read ruqyah, even Quran, even if they read Quran, but in words or language that is not clear or understood. When they say, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Do you understand? Here you go. If they say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Maliki, what is that? If they start, or they tell a ruqyah in a language other than, like for example, if you speak Urdu, and the person is performing a ruqyah in Urdu, you would know that this is a dua that makes sense, not some weird words. And the magicians, sometimes they are fooled by the jinn, by telling them, what we teach you is words that will make you very righteous. Like they will tell him, write this down, Bismillah. So they would write Bismillah. They come to the word Allah and change the ha. Or they tell them, say Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad, Ya Jibreel, Ya Mikael, Ya Sahsahubi. They tell him, I know Jibreel, I know Rasulullah, I know Allah, and we're not supposed to say Ya Muhammad, Ya Jibreel. But what is this last thing? They say, oh, don't worry, this is the name of an angel who's giving certain powers. So the person who's performing the ruqyah thinks that he's dealing with angels. And they fool so many by doing that. So if you feel or you hear someone performing ruqyah on you in a language that is other than what you understand or what you know, then this is a fake raqi. Ask for things that are impossible or hard to get. Like what? He'll tell you, bring me a goat, all black, but a white mark on his forehead. Or a rooster that is brownish with dark spot on its wing or something like that. You know, things that are very hard. Or just a pigeon that has this description or so on. If they start asking you for things like that, don't think you're giving, and they call it sadaqat. The magician, they call these things sadaqat. You're like, sacrifice. You're doing sacrifice for Allah. You're not doing sacrifice for Allah. You're doing sacrifice for the shaitan, wal-'iyadhu billah. After that, ask for clothes or some trace. This is the worst part. I'll tell you a story about this because we came to the stories. They ask the person, let's say somebody wants to do magic. They tell him, can you bring me a trace? Something that touched his body. And the best for magician is your private part here or the armpit. If they can't get that, they tell him, get me a hair or any piece of hair from any part of his body. If they can't get that, nails. They can't get that, clothes like underwear, something that touched him directly and has his sweat. They can't get that, clothes that he wore and he did not wash yet. Anyway, they cannot get that. They tell them, you have to bring from him anything. And then they take that, which they did to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So if any of these people who does ruqya tells you, bring your husband's underwear or t-shirt and I will make him love you, believe me, your husband is going to hate you for the rest of your life. Okay? Or, so this person, this sister, what she did, the magician told her, he says, bring me something from your husband and I will make that connection between both of you even stronger. So she went and she got his tank top, okay, which he had changed, he didn't wash, she took it to the magician and he did it. But the magician was not an expert. So when he did the magic, he made the husband hate his wife, not love her. So her husband told me when we were reading, every time we were together, forgive me for that, I see her as a monkey. I said, that's good, she's jumping around. No, he said, no, a monkey. I'm like she danced for you? No, like monkey, sheikh, monkey, an animal. Every time I get closer to him, and I see that in my dreams many, many times. So we did the ruqya on the person, performed the ruqya on the person. The person starts screaming very loud. They start shouting, stomach pain, stomach pain, stomach pain. So I didn't know what was going on. And then he said, there's ache in my body. There's something going on, like itchy. And it will, as soon as we read, it turns red. I didn't know what was going on with this guy. So we did the ruqya, full ruqya, till the jinn spoke. And when the jinn spoke, then we knew that the trace was given by his wife. And then she admit later, of course, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala solved the problem. They got back together. They were almost close to divorce. So I told the sister this joke. After we read ruqya and Allah cured them, and she told us about the magic, and I found the magic, it was in something like that. I opened it up, it was the cut of the tank top, in it with some hair, some words and talasim and wording on it. So I told the sister, I said, subhanallah, look sister, there's a sister who went to a sheikh once, and she told him, I want my husband to love me. Listen to this story, it is a joke, but he said, you want him to love you? She said, don't worry about that. Get me a monkey's hair. No, real monkey's hair. So she said, okay. She went to the zoo. How she's going to get a monkey's hair? Monkey jumps all over. So first day, she couldn't get it. She get closer, the monkey hits her, jumps away, any of that. Second day, she noticed the monkey, what he likes, what he dislikes. He eats banana, peanuts, and so on, nuts. So she said, okay. Third day, she brought some bananas. She got it, offered to the monkey, got close. The monkey stole the banana, ran away. She's like, what's going on? Fourth day, she got some music playing in the background with the monkey. He starts jumping closer to it. But the monkey still, fourth day. After a week, she went to the sheikh. Okay? And she said, the sheikh said, alhamdulillah, I got it. Can you make my husband love me? He said, how did you get it? He said, I did everything. I dressed for the monkey. I sung for the monkey. I played music in the background. I looked what he liked, what he disliked. The sheikh said, ittaqillah, wallahi, if you do that, half of that to your husband, he would love you more than the monkey loved you. Just do that. You want your husband to love you? Okay, when he comes home, he should smell something nice. Not cutting onions and then you meet him with a knife and you're like, why are you late? The kids did this and this, and she's like, why he doesn't like me? Come on. The Prophet told us, if you return from a travel, don't enter your house before you tell your wife, and don't enter late night. So you won't see your wife in a form that you wouldn't like. So you should let her know, I'm coming home. Not just out of the sudden you're knocking. She was doing her hair and it was still fluffy. And you know how the sisters wake up sometimes. And brothers with afros too. Okay, you wake up, the first thing you're going to say is what? A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim. Yeah? Well, you did that to yourself. So there are means to it. Like the same thing the Prophet Ibn Abbas used to dress nicely, perfume his beard, comb his hair, go to the barber shop every week. So they told him, why are you doing that? He said, I would like to look nice for my wife, like I would love my wife to look nice for me. It's both relation. Okay? That's how we connect families, inshallah. So they ask you for a trace or anything from Hadith. And this is the part that they did to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the magic they did to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. And I'm going to show you which magic they did, inshallah. Reads on women without mahram or touches them directly. I have that as a big problem that I have faced. If I tell you the stories that I know about this, first he goes into a room with her by themselves. Only him and the women. Who's their third now? The Rasul said if a man and a woman are by themselves, their third partner is? So don't tell me, even if you're going to read all Quran. They asked Al-Hasan, can we teach women Quran privately? He said, you teaching Quran and the Shaitan is listening? Shaitan is your third. So if he asked you to read, this sister said, she went with her husband. The sheikh said he put his hand on her forehead, which is not allowed. I know direct touch, if I touch, Sheikh Ahmed gets scared when I do that. But if I touch Sheikh Ahmed, there is some connection in the ruqya that it affects the jinn more. And we know that through experience. For women, you should not do so. And if somebody who reads Quran, as I told you before, remember slide 1? Even if he has a beard, even if he has a sibha in his hand and he's doing all the adhkar, he carries a book in hand. Even if he tells you, I'm the Imam of time, the Mahdi, it doesn't matter. He touches women without a veil, meaning, veil means what? Someone else, like her husband. So the husband puts the hand on her forehead and you put your hand on the husband, not on her. Some sisters told me, wallahi, and I don't like to say that, but wal'ayadhu billah, wallahi, this person, he told them, the husband, the only way to get this magic away from her and to be cured, because she was afflicted with magic, I have to rub over her chest area and her body 10 times. And wallahi, the husband said, I thought because he's a sheikh, maybe they have to do that. And then the women went through depression after that. These people who read by the name of Allah, which is supposed to, even if he's reading Quran, here you go, clear Quran, clear ahadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He tells you, I read to you privately, without any person with you, touch the woman anywhere. Some people, they touch women and their shoulder, and their chest, and their leg, and they tell you, oh, I'm touching the jinn. This is fooling around. This is a sexual assault. They should be reported to the police. Khalas, are we clear on that? Be very careful of that, because if that happened, you're doing haram and he's doing haram. Claims that they know the future or the unknown. Like if he tells you your wallet was stolen, oh, I know who stole it, and he tells you the person, then know that there's something wrong with this person. If the jinn doesn't tell him about magic, then there's something wrong. Nobody knows the future but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Gives you a tamima, ta'weezah to use, to burn, to wear, and instruct that is not to be opened. He gives you any of this. Okay? And he tells you, don't open it. This will protect you. This is 1500. Anybody wants to buy? 1500. Wallah, 1500. It is, no, but this guy did some work. It's wrong, it's magic. It has names and letters, and it is real magic. They claim that it brings rizq and children, and he didn't have children, so 1500. If any of the shuyukh tells you, take this, keep it in your pocket, in your pillow, under your footstep, under your doorstep, under your wife's pillow to make her love you, or maybe, boil it in water and give it to your husband to drink. I'll tell you cases like they did that. Or maybe dissolve it in water and you and your husband drink. Or dissolve it in water and spray it in front of your husband when he crosses. And by the time he crosses over, his love would increase for you. Any of that, then know that this person is a fraud. Is that clear? طيب. Next. ask the patient to be isolated or stay in a dark room for a period of time. There is no such treatment as that. If they do that, they're just trying to bring you jinn. Because jinn like everything that is dark. Dark night, dark clothes. I know all sisters are wearing black today, but don't worry. No. That's what they like, dark objects. Tamam? Tells the patient what's their name, okay? The city they came from, where they live, or anything about their problem without you speaking to him. You go in, he tells you, oh, brother so-and-so, I know where you came from. I know who you are. I know why you're here. And I'm going to tell you this is the problem you came for, right? And you're like, MashaAllah, this sheikh is great. He knows a lot. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him vision. No, this is jinn talking to him. Each one of us has what? We're going back to slide 1. Each one of us has qareen. We say this qareen knows everything about you. So what do the magician do? He asks his jinn to run to your jinn, gets all the your summary report in seconds, because they moved the what is it? Arsh Bilqis from Yemen to Palestine. He said faster than a blink of an eye. So they move, transfer. So your qareen tells him, he's so-and-so, he came for this, he lost his wallet, he lost his car, something happened to him. So as soon as you come in, he approaches you this way to give you some trust in him, to think he is a religious person. Know that this person is a magician, he is a fraud. So this is what they give you, brothers and sisters. All of these things you're supposed to burn, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Look. Anybody has any of these things? No?
I mean, I got car keys.
No, not car keys, man. Magic added to it. Like a ta'weeza. Things to ta'weez. Or these. Here you go. Anybody has any of these? Okay. This just came to me a few days ago. Here you go. This is the real one. Bismillah. 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 Here you go. This one is the one on this side right here. This is this one right here. This came to me. And if I interpret to you, I know what numbers and letters here mean. And look how they write it. They extend the letter. So they have Ya Allah, Ya Dayyanul Ibad, Kul whatever that is, okay? And then they add a square. They put letters. You see this right here? You see this square right here? As soon as you see something like that with a square or a triangle of of letters or numbers, know for sure it's magic. Yeah, some of them don't know how to do it. I know. They don't mean anything. And if I have time at the end, I will show you, inshallah, one thing that I had from a magician who told the person to write Surah Al-Talaq. Do I have time still? I'm okay? Nice. Can I go on? Yeah? Type. He said, write Surah Al-Talaq with certain numbers. So the brother told, oh, he's just telling me to write Surah Al-Talaq and dissolve it in water, and he will not divorce his wife. But let me tell you what was the written. Do you want me to show you that? Should I show you?
Yeah.
Type. Let's. Can we go to, how do we go to the last slide, Miles? Can you move on to last slide, please? So anybody has any of these at the house, brothers and sisters? If you have them, I know some people have ta'wizat. I'm sorry to say, especially brothers. Here you go. This is the one. Yeah. No, I need. It's okay. No. Go down to the numbers. To the numbers. Okay. Open it up. Yes. Okay. Look at this number. Okay. Any of these ta'wizat I am going to take right now. Okay. These are the numbers. This is actually this is what the scholars use for tajweed. No, tajweed. If you're reading Quran and you want to learn abjad, hawaz, hutti, kalamun. These are letters of alphabet, yes? Anybody from Morocco? Yeah? In Morocco, they still till today, they don't teach alphabet as alif, ba, ta. They used to teach it because of qira'at warsh, abjad, hawaz, right? These are letters of alphabet like alif, ba, ta. So they take each letter, they give it a number. Okay? They give it a number. So, can you guys remember the numbers here? Can somebody take a picture of it? And keep it with you. I want to do something with you. Go. Anybody. Because I'm going to ask you. Go ahead. Take a picture of this and look up here. You got it? Okay, look up here. He told this person to read Surah Al-Talaq. This is what it says. Surah Al-Talaq, to protect from divorce. Tuktab, you write it. You write Surah Al-Talaq in 2 papers. And you have a pot of water. You dissolve it in this pot. Or 10, 50, 360. What is that? Nobody will understand that, right? We don't understand. He's saying, take the paper. لا صعب. I didn't do that. طيب. Can you give me a few minutes? They're saying, huh? طيب. They're saying take your time. And the people are worried that you guys, how many of you wants to go home? Allahu Akbar, nobody wants to go home. So anybody who wants to leave, they could leave. Can we do, ask them, اسألهم خلاص الناس مش عايزة. Really people don't. Okay, let's go inshallah quickly. Okay, 60 is what? Brother, what is 60? Huh? Seen? 3? Okay, so it's 63, 50, 10. 63, 50, 10. 60, okay? 3, Jim, okay? What do we say? 50, what? Noon. And then 10. The word is yanjus, filthy papers. So you bring the Quran and you put it into water. What water? 50, 60, 10, 3. You would think, what does that have to do with anything? He's telling you to put the Quran in what? Filthy water. Okay? Yanjus, water that is impure. Now, and then what do you do after that? You take that Quran in that water, and then you wash the surah from the Quran by 53, 165. 53, 165. 50, noon. 3, jim. 1, alif. And then 60, and then 5. Najasa, impurity. So you take the water that is impure, you put the Quran in it, and then you take this Quran and dissolve it by what? Impurity. What is impurity? Blood, and things like that. Did you see what they do? So if anybody sees things like that, even if it has Allah's name in it, these people are just mixing it up, so you would not notice. So they could have Allah's name in it and Quran recitation verses, but they add up these numbers which we are not familiar with, or these letters, and they turn into what? Shirk, kufr. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. This is what they do. So what should we do with that if we have them? We take these waters. We take the water, we burn it. If it doesn't have any bukhur or anything that are sands or soil, we burn it. And then we take the ashes, we bring water, we read Quran, the ruqyah on the water. And then we take the paper. We could take the paper and just dissolve it into that pure water with Quran. Or the ashes after we burn it, and you put it into that water till it dissolves completely, and then you bury it in the ground. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah will protect you from any of the harm. طيب. Due to the time, I am just going to jump to I'm going to jump to the ruqyah. If فهمي خلاص? I could stop, but
keep going.
give me about 15 minutes. طيب, Bismillah. So, now this is magic. Okay. طيب. So the Prophet ﷺ says, whoever carries a tamima or a talsam commits shirk. and be careful because of that. Rasulullah ﷺ says, whoever carries something like that, take it off, because it will only increase your weakness. It will not bring you any benefit. How do the magician brings in magic, or how do the magician prepare magic? I can't tell you in that short period of time. So these are the ways. Each way, of course, has its own lecture, but it's very, time is running out. I'm just gonna tell you a tariqa sufliya to show you, or maybe these two. How do they bring jinn? Look what they do, brothers, and you'll be surprised. Subhanallah. First, the jinn orders them to be isolated for 40 days. This is why I'm warning you from those people, because look what they do to get to that level. They tell them to be isolated for 40 days in a place where they don't use water at all for 40 days. They take the Quran, wal-'iyadhu billah. They cut the Quran into two pieces from the middle, Surah Al-Kahf. And they put each side in their feet like a sandal. And they walk in impurity for 40 days. And then imagine what else they do. They, wal-'iyadhu billah, urinate on it. They filth on it. This is the as-sufli, disbelief. And when they do that after 40 days, the jinn will appear to them. And the more the magician disbelieves in Allah, the more that the jinn will be helping him. So they end up, I know a magician in Yemen. Oh, sorry. Somewhere. This magician said, he used to, when he makes magic, he would perform 2 rak'ah. And people would see him doing salah. He says, when I start salah, all I say is Allahu Akbar. The jinn will appear to me on a chair in a form of a man, and I would pray for him. Ruku', sujood. So people would think that I'm praying for Allah, but I would be making sujood on his feet, and he would be stepping on with his other foot on my head, and then the other sajda on the other foot, and so on, for him to do one thing for me. That's every time. So the rule is, the more the magician brings these swearing or disbelief backward, they take the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. They write it like this, Mim, Ya, Ha, Ra, Alif, Lam. Backward, they write the Quran. And they add numbers in the middle. And then they bring filthy blood of menstruation or other blood. And they pour it on the Quran that is written like that. And then they say certain words till the jinn comes to them and talk to them. Certain stars, I can't run, escape over. These are all ways that I wish I had time to explain to you how they do it. But this is the one. Al-Arrafa, people who read palm reading. Al-Finjan, reading coffee, grind. You guys know that, especially Arab, they're familiar with that. This is what the magician does. She brings a cup of coffee that you drank. The jinn will appear in that. And the jinn will tell her, do this, do that, don't do that, the signs and the marks. And then she will tell you, this is what happened. Or, Al-Mandal, or Al-Zahr al-Kaf. Al-Mandal, sometimes they'll bring a kid and they'll do magic. I wanted to use the kid today, he was willing to. But sorry man, we couldn't do it. The type of magic that there are out there, separation, love, false appearance of object, crazy, laziness, hearing voices, sickness or illness, and bleeding. This is only for women. And then impairing marriage, to stop marriage. Separation between man and wife, between man and his wife, family members, friends, workmates, partners, and so on. What do? They tell them, bring me a trace. They bring the trace to the person. He makes his nuts. He performs these nuts. He blow with certain words. They separate between the husband and the wife. So the brother ends up seeing his wife in other forms. Or the wife dislikes her husband. Sometime if he's outside of the house, mashallah, she's running, watching TV, she's playing fun, and the kids. He enters the house, everything changed. And she feels there's something wrong. How many sisters feel that? Oh, they're like, we feel it all the time. No, it's not magic. You're just not liking your husband to be at the house. But if this is change, I'm talking about when you're living normal life and suddenly things change. Like love. A person who does love and then it turns against him. This magician, wal-'iyadhu billah, what he did to the sister, I was reading on her. They thought he was a sheikh. So they brought him. The brother put his hand on his wife. I read to the sister. The sister literally flew up about مثلا 1 foot off the ground. Off the ground. She was just sitting down. She just started flying up. Even her husband was like, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, you know. So I knew there was something wrong because of what he told me. She would see him in a certain way. She would see dreams of these weird figures. She would see a snake, dark snake all the time. She would see this man coming to her, advising, teaching even Quran and then she would turn. So I knew there was something wrong. I read after long reading, of course, and she did that. Her head tilted. You know those moves that you see in movies? Just the head went, and the husband just said, La ilaha illallah, boom. He let her go, and she dropped on the ground. After long reading, I found that this person, he did magic to separate between her and her husband because he wanted to marry her, but her mother rejected him. So he promised to do something for her. He went all the way from the country he was at, I'm not going to say what country, to a country that teaches magic, well-known country, of course. There's only 4 well-known. You guys go figure it out. He went to that magic country. He learned magic just to do it to this sister. Wallahi, ikhwa. And I saw it with my own eyes. They used to tell me, I didn't see that part, but her father, and they used to tell me she would run almost naked on the roof of the house, calling his name in the middle of the night. The sheikh, the magician, his name out loud. And when she sleeps, and if her husband gets closer to her, she'll feel like a shaitan is literally attacking her. We had to do about 1.5 months of ruqyah. Till alhamdulillah, we were able to find the magic, and we were able to remove everything. And I told her to hold on to the adhkar and so on. So this is the separation of magic. Signs, we already talked about it. Okay, here you go. Creates many doubts between them. Not accepting each other's excuse, making bigger deal out of little problems, change of figures either in dreams or other than that, hating the action that the other person does, hating the place where the other person is at. If women see that or men sees that and they see dreams with that, most likely they are afflicted with or possessed with jinn. How do they prepare that? This is what do. The magician asks a person name and mother's name. He asks for a trace and then he looks at what type are you, and they do it. This is what they did to the Prophet, and they made him see objects and things that he didn't do. How did they do it? A woman or a servant took hair, a comb that the Prophet ﷺ used to comb his hair with, that had hair, pieces of hair, his hair, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and hadith in Bukhari. And she gave it to Labid ibn al-A'sam, who was a Jewish magician. Labid took what do you call this, Sheikh Ahmed? Voodoo, huh? The voodoo. Yes. Labid took something like that, like a doll. Really, this is what happened to Rasulullah now. He took something like that, and he brought all these needles in, and he took Rasulullah's hair, and he tied it, wrapped it around the doll. And because the Prophet's name and his mother's name matches the water type, they buried it in a well of water. Remember we spoke about the 4 types? You're either what? Fire. So if you're fire, they bring these papers and they burn it into a pot, steel, and you feel boiling. You will feel it as soon as the magicians start doing it. If you are muddy or soil, they will bury it in the graves. I just found last month magic in the grave. 6 months ago or so, or a year ago, more than that maybe, when we were doing the reading, a sister from Yemen, we were reading on her. As soon as I read, the jinn start speaking. A man's voice, of course, a man's voice. He was Yemeni too, but he was from Taiz. He gave me a problem, he gave me a hard time. But I read to him, he kept telling me, well, you know, I'm not going to tell you where is it, you're a very strong man. I'm like, forget all this foolishness. Why are you in her? He said, I've been with her for about 15 years. I love her now. I can't do it. Wallahi, akhwa, as soon as I read to her, she passed out. And when she heard my voice coming into the door, she starts screaming from upstairs. So I knew there was something wrong. When I read, the first thing to know, when a person passes out, Shaykh Ahmed also always wanted to know that. First, the person passes out. If the person does not pass out, this person might be possessed with jinn, but not the jinn speaking to you. If Shaykh Ahmed is speaking to me right now and I hear his voice that I'm familiar with, even if he screams, that's not jinn. Not just because you go, and you're like, oh, jinn is here. No. If they change voice, they pass out, they change voice. So this is a man's voice. I told him to prove to the brothers who are with me. I said, what do I have in my pocket? He said, you have a wallet. How much is it in it? He said, $100. So I took the $100. A brother was with me, my friend, and I said, how much does he have in his upper pocket? And he said, $100. The brother took it out. He said, well, I don't need it. I'm not going to use it. The jinn knows about it. But you know, her eyes opened up. She was wearing niqab. I force women to wear niqab, especially if I know they are possessed with jinn. I'm sure they are possessed because of certain so you won't look at her, because if she looks beautiful or she looks nice, you might be afflicted yourself and the shaitan will fool you. And you look at her face, you'll be distracted from the reading. And you end up being weak, so there is no way you would defeat the shaitan because you're doing something haram. So anyway, her eyes literally came out of the niqab. You don't want to see that. Her eyes opened up, came out, very strong, and then she starts shouting. So I knew that, khalas. So I kept talking and reading, and وَاتَّبَعُوا Untitled Chapter, Ayatul Kursi, and so on. He told me, khalas, you stop burning me. I'll tell you where the magic is. I said, where? He said, in Yemen. I said, oh, that's far away. I'm not going to go to Yemen to check it out. How do I know that you're saying the truth? So we sent her brother. He was in Yemen. He went to the house where he told us it was buried under the house in a grave next to the house. We took it out. We burned it. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. But the struggle was continuing because she used to look at the mirror so much. Be careful of that. Don't have a mirror. Don't have a mirror in front of in your bedroom. Don't have it in the bathroom at night time, especially our kids. Don't let them scream inside the bathroom where there's a mirror where they see themselves. Be very careful. This is she was not reading Quran as much and stuff like that. So he told me, I'm leaving today, but I'm coming back. And then alhamdulillah, he left. And then I didn't follow after that because I had to travel. But this is a case of magic. So they did that to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, where Rasulullah would see objects or things, and this is how he cured. This is the point that I want to get to. The first way to cure the sickness is that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, every night in the middle of the night, he would wake up and pray 2 rak'ah and make dua for Allah. First way to cure yourself before you go to a magician. Now, how do I know there is something wrong with me before I go to somebody to read on me? I'm going to give you these hints. Anyone here thinks that their children is possessed, they are possessed, there's jinn in the house, there's something wrong. This is what you do. If you think you have something, a problem, put the recitation of the Quran in your ears, okay? And listen to Surah Al-Baqarah or to the full ruqyah. If your hands start shaking, they are numbed. If you feel chest pain, the muscles are not moving right, you feel like you want to throw up, stomach pain, you cannot no longer listen to the ruqyah, then you have a problem, go see someone. If you're able to listen to the ruqyah once or twice or 3 times and you don't feel any of that, you might feel sleepy, you might feel some yawning, you might feel crying, that's fine. But if you don't feel what I told you, then you're not afflicted. If you feel something from what I told you, you might be possessed with magic, hasad, envy, evil eye, which is a great deal because a lot of kids, I read on them, they have evil eye, clear signs. So do it yourself. You don't need me or anybody to do it because the Prophet ﷺ did it. And the best of cure, Ayatul Kursi, Al-Mu'awwidhat. He said, Rasulullah said, مَا تُعُوِّذَ بِأَفْضَلِ مِنْهُمَا. There is no other way that is better than قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ. But I'm giving you more in the other hadith, the 4 qalaqil. 4. Beginning of Al-Fatiha, beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayatul Kursi, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ يَا الْكَافِرُونَ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ day and night. You're protected. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وعلى كل شيء قدير. 100 times a day, you are protected. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. طبعا these I'm gonna skip the signs because I really don't have time. I want to get to. So how Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was cured? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him in a dream. Quran is the cure. Quran is the cure, the complete treatment. The Prophet ﷺ took Ayatul Kursi, al-Mu'awwidhat, he read, and then he wiped over his body. And he told Ali, go to the well of water, bring me the magic. They took it out. They found this doll, and it has this magic on it. The hair, the comb of the Prophet ﷺ, tied with about 11 nuts. صحيح? Not 11 nuts. Well, add قل يا أيها الكافرون قل أعوذ بالفلق قل أعوذ برب الناس. How many verses? That's how many nuts. I don't remember So each nut he would undo and read one verse. Each nut he will undo and read one verse till it was all removed, and the Prophet ﷺ went back to normal, where he used to see that he would do certain things like this right here that I got from this person. Do you know? Where is the other one that I had? I'm going to show you this example and how this person reacted. This person, brothers and sisters, I was reading on him. Okay? His mother-in-law wanted to separate between him and his wife. SubhanAllah. I don't believe the jinn, but I'm just saying the story. So I read to the brother, he started complaining from stomach pain. Very strong. I know there's something wrong, but there is no jinn speaking, nothing. But this brother, every time I read to him, he would hold on to his stomach and he would go down like this, and he would be lifted up the ground, going to his right, in front, his left, his back. And this is another sign to differentiate between someone who has what's the word? Sara? Epilepsy. صحيح? Yeah, epilepsy, because of a disorder, okay, or a sickness, and because of jinn. Those people who are like seizure, those people who are like, when they are during their seizure attack, they only fall to one side, right or left or front or back. They fall on one side. The one who has jinn falls on all sides, up, down, going down. So this brother, I gave him this water. We read on it, and I gave him to drink. Subhanallah. After he finished the water, he looked at me. His eyes opened up. His hands started moving around, and he wanted to kind of come and shook me like that. And I was like, Bismillah. And I kept reading. His foot got up, tilted almost 180 degrees. And then this brother just did this. He vomited. Just water. And after the water, I found like bowls like this coming out. Of course, we had a cup or a container. Small bowls like this, dark black. About 6 or 7 of them. I took them, we undo it. Each one of them is tied with his hair, most likely. And this is the magic that he drank. And who did it for him? It was this lady. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive all of us. How do you treat yourself? Here you go. Very quickly. Ruqya, kabbing, fasting, daily adhkar will protect you. Listen to this dhikr. Learn this dhikr today. This is the most important part. I'm only taking 5 minutes. Khalas, 9:30 I'll stop. I know I'm rushing today, but this dhikr is one of the greatest to hold on to. With all the other adhkar. The Prophet says, whoever says, Bismillah, when he leaves his house, Tawakkaltu ala Allah, ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. Angels are talking to each other, saying, Shayateen are talking to each other, saying, we cannot get close to this person today. He is protected and no one would come close to him. He is guided. What can we do with someone whom Allah protects? Very simple. You leave your house, put your hand on your forehead or your children's forehead when they go to school, before they leave. Read Ayatul Kursi. قل هو الله أحد. قل أعوذ برب الفلق. قل أعوذ برب الناس. And then make water or rubbing olive oil. It helps with people who are possessed. Drinking Zamzam water with ruqya. If no Zamzam water, just bring this ruqya right here. I'm going to pass it out today. Don't leave before you take one. Read in the paper. So your breathing should come out. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The air that comes out of you goes into the water. Read the full ruqya and keep it in the house. Mix it with a gallon of water. Every morning your kid drinks from it. Inshallah, he won't be exposed to any of this harm. You will not be exposed to any of this harm yourself. Inshallah Rabbil Alameen, by the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Black seed, Rasulullah said, is a cure from everything except death. It protects you from every harm but death. Al-asal, honey, has a lot of cure. So all of that, inshallah, if you use, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you. So this is the adhkar that I want you to hold on to, inshallah, that we take home today. Surah Al-Fatiha, Surah Al-Baqarah, especially verse 103, Ayatul Kursi, Akhir Ayatin, last two ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah, the last four ayah, surah, and then the adhkar. This is what happened. Our Shaykh, Hafidhahullah, one time he was reading, and the Jinn spoke to him, and the Jinn said, I would leave under one circumstance, that I leave his body and enters your body. And the Shaykh says, go ahead. So the Jinn said, he took like a few minutes and then he started crying. He said, what's wrong? He said, no one could harm you today because of La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah lahul mulk wa lahul hamdu ala kulli shayin qadir. You said it after Fajr 100 times, you are protected from us for the day. Very simple dhikr. The Prophet ﷺ taught us nothing better than al-mu'awadhat. No one could harm you by the protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You say, Bismillah alladhi la yadurru ma'a ismihi shay'un fil ardi wa la fis sama' wa huwa as-sami'ul alim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامة من كل شيطان وهامة ومن كل عين لامة. You could go back to the video and pause at it. I'm just going through the pictures. You could do the dhikr, will protect you. This is if someone is sick, it will inshallah bring a cure for him. This sister, she was possessed with magic. Somebody did magic for her. And the Shaykh read so much, but we could not get to where the magic was. The jinn didn't speak. We know there is signs of affliction. How do we know there is signs? You put your hand and you read, not on the sister, I'm saying, of course, somebody else. But then you read the verses that talks about magic. 103 in Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah Yunus, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى مُوسَى, and other verses. And then you repeat it like 70 times. She starts doing what? She starts shaking, numbness. She feels heaviness. And if he is a brother, you put your fingers on this area right here. The poles of his nerves here moves very hard, not just regular move. And this is how you know that the jinn is possessed with jinn. Their eyes become wide and becomes red, but that's not always the case because you have to know how to look into it. Okay? They start uttering in different language or different verbs. So this sister, we did everything, but we couldn't tell. Wallahi ikhwa, 15 days. She was doing adhkar. She protected herself. She got rid of everything that's haram in the house. After 15 days, she saw a dream where the magic was buried in a grave close to her house. She told her parents, they went and we saw it, and it was, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, was removed. Jinn didn't talk, we didn't need to do anything. It was her who cured herself by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when she followed this footstep, inshaAllah rabbil alameen. Jazakumullah khairan. I know this is very quickly, but there is more to say and there is a lot to say. I hope I did not rush the stories. Inshallah, we're interested. So I'll open up questions. As'Allah yahfazana. Ameen. Ameen ya Rabbi. Let me tell you why I'm doing this. For two reasons. Because we have to get rid of that. These things are causing harm to our houses. So these things are bringing harm to our family and our life and our children. Don't let your children play during sunset time. I am doing this for two reasons. Number one, to convey that knowledge as much as I can from the experience I've seen. I did this for over 15 years now. Say 15 years, 10 years, more than 10 years. I have seen cases, if you ask me how many cases you have seen with jinn, out of 100 cases that I have seen, maybe only 3 or 4. Muslims today, if you tell them, you have a headache, you might have jinn. He goes home, oh Allah, subhanallah, I knew that. No, you have headache because you didn't sleep. You know, those black mark under your eyes, you tell the person, when was the last time you had some rest? He's like, oh man, a few weeks ago. That's why you had them, not because of evil eye. You know, we kind of like to have a hanger. We hang all our problems on it, where we don't say, it's me who's not doing the salah good. It's me who's not coming to the masjid. It's me who's not holding on to the Quran. It's me who's not reading enough. We just like to say, oh, I'm sure it's the jinn. My kid doesn't sleep at night, I'm sure it's the jinn. My problem with my husband at the house, I am sure it's a jinn. I heard the Sheikh say today, you know, I tell you this story. I told someone, if you see animals in your dreams, or beasts or snakes in your dreams, most likely they are jinn. He's like, wallahi, I see them. I said, mashallah, how many times? He said, maybe once or twice. I said, no, that's not jinn. He said, three times. I said, no, that's not jinn. He said, wallahi, 4 times. I'm like, that's not jinn. He said, how many do you need? How many do you need? See, this is the problem. Yeah, the jinn life, by the way, jinn are not going to harm you just because you're walking in the streets. Jinn would only enter your body in 4 cases. Anger, severe anger. 2, severe, what's the, scared, scared, like you're scared. Fear. 3rd, yawning very strongly without putting your hand on your mouth. 4, complete desires. You're falling into desires. So anything that has oxygen, you're breathing in. Like when you're angry, you know, some people, their nose start. This is the time that the shaitan could enter your body. By the way, we asked all the jinn that we have spoken to, and I'm not a magician. They told us it's the hardest moment of their time and their life to possess someone. They don't do it like that because they're walking in the streets. Oh, they like this person. How about I mess with him? They have their life. They're busy with work right now. They have night shifts. We're here at the masjid. So don't be scared. This is nothing. But you might harm them. Sisters, how many times you turn on hot water in the bathroom or in the kitchen? Or boiling water where you pour it into the sink. There might be jinn in the sink. They harm you because you harm them. So how could I protect myself? All you have to do is do what? Bismillah. Turn on the water because the shayateen are covered now. They are protected. I have read on a sister, forgive me for that. Okay, let's just say a brother because I said to a jinn, why did you enter her body? He said, Ya Sheikh, look at her. She was overweight. Okay? And I said, just because she's overweight, you entered the body? Of course, after long reading. He said, no. She entered the bathroom. And she goes to the bathroom every single day, like 5 times. She doesn't say the dua. So there is no veil. Rasulullah said when you say the dua, there is a veil. So this time she entered with hot water. And she wanted to pour it into the sink. So she dropped in the bathroom and the water fell on the jinni. So he said, I wanted to take revenge from her. And when she dropped not only water, she also dropped on me. I felt bad for him because I was reading. I know how I didn't wait but it is a problem. All it takes is say what? Bismillah. Rasulullah said you say Bismillah. Even inside the bathroom now you can say Bismillah. A'udhu billahi min khulq. Because our bathrooms are not the bathroom. Literally the toilet area is the bathroom definition. But our bathrooms now are isolated. So you could remember. Go back. Come on, man. Like you tell me, oh man, I'm going to be late if I exit the bathroom and re-enter. Only 1 minute. Just step out, say the dua, come back in. Rasulullah said, the shayateen, there is a veil. They don't see you. They don't see the awarat, your privates, when you enter the bathroom. You could protect yourself through many ways. Don't blame it on anyone but yourself, inshallah. May Allah protect all of you. Open up for questions, but please make it very quickly regarding the topic. Yes. No questions? Alhamdulillah. Yes. Now. Huh? Take the book, bring water, a pot of water, okay? Or bring it to the masjid here, give it to Sheikh Fahmi and I'll take care of it. I know. Where are you from? Pakistan, Afghanistan, India. They are known. I know. There is a book now in Egypt, it's sold for £1, which is about 10 cents. It teaches you magic. Be careful of these things. So you could do this thing. You take it, you burn it, and then put it into this water where you recite this ruqya on it. Here, can you pass it out to the sisters? Okay? And pass it out to the brother. Each one gives to the one next to him. Here you go. That's how we do it fast. So read this ruqya on it, on the water. Pour it in there till it dissolves completely and bury it in the ground. Then bring it to me. Give it to Sheikh Fahmi or Sheikh Yusuf and tell them give it to the Sheikh. I'll take care of it, inshallah. Any other question? Jazakumullah khair. May Allah protect you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save you, your family, your children, give you the benefit of what we have said. Subhanakallahumma wa hamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Walhamdulillah wa jazakumullah khairan.
Jazakumullah khair. We really appreciate Sheikh Ammar for making this beautiful and informative talk. Believe me, through experience, he can go on for many hours after this. So there is tea and sweets within the purpose for the channel, so make your way there. And if there's any questions, Sheikh is still here.